Yeah, you probably shouldn't hire a white label agency unless they do at least these three things. Otherwise, you're setting your agency up to fail. First, low quality versus premium. Welcome back, everybody. It's Ozzy and
Zach.
And together we've built multiple businesses, including Advertis, where we've helped over 300 marketing agencies scale smarter, grow faster, and escape the chaos that most agency owners get stuck in. In each episode, we're actually going to break down real conversations by agency owners. These conversations are more like around sales, operations, hiring, scaling, leadership, the wins, the failures, all of it. And today we're talking about the top reasons, the top three things that you should be looking for in a white label partner. And I think, I mean, we talk to agency owners every day, Zach, but oftentimes it's usually them venting about the white label partners that they've worked with in the past. And one of the reasons why we built the company in the first place to really raise the bar on what that meant. So this is a good episode idea. I'm glad you brought this one up.
Well, it's true though. The whole premise for Advertis was to create a premium white label agency, but you kind of need a base to start with, and a lot of that base came from just how many agency owners that we knew in our personal lives who were frustrated with the lack of quality talent out there, especially around other white label marketing agencies. The biggest one that I think is very obvious that everyone talks about first and foremost is just the level of communication. Premium communication is desired in this market. How many times has someone worked with a freelancer, a solopreneur, your uncle, nephew's, cousin's former roommate, even an employee sometimes, or a contractor or another white label agency, where you send them a message, you're nervous about how the campaign's performing, or you're nervous about a downturn in traffic, right? Or a spike in spend, and you just need an answer in 24 hours. It's not that hard to ask, and you get ghosted. And I think many white label agencies are usually overseas. So usually they operate on a different time zone. Usually they're communicating on different time zones. So that's an issue. There can sometimes be a language barrier. That's an issue. Then sometimes they just flat out don't prioritize communication because it's not part of their agency process, right? And so we found a really easy section to go premium with for Advertis, where we can create a premium communication process between our team, the white label team doing the work, the service delivery, and the agency partner who is communicating, guiding, working with the team. And so I think in each of those line items, leveraging Slack and direct communication channels with having a co-Slack channel where you have direct access to communicate with the people that are doing the work on the ads, on the SEO, on the dev is super valuable. I mean, it's has spoken volumes, and there are people who now just rely on that one co-Slack channel for delivering a half of their entire agency's workload.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, I think when we first started working with agencies, that was always the biggest complaint was, that they had any experience with white label. It was really kind of a negative experience because to your perspective, like you were just sharing, the timing was never really a great thing. It was always like a timing barrier. I mean, whether that white label agency was overseas or whatever the case, they could not get back fast enough because the client wanted answers now. And that was always a struggle, especially because just as much as I do in the service space, any service-based company, the person doing the work is going to know more about why that was done than, somebody who's an account manager who's just getting and looking at a report. It takes a certain type of skill to be able to look at a report and say, that's how the specialist did this. It doesn't, it takes a little bit of a skill set that not everyone has. I've seen you do it, Zach. It's pretty impressive. But ultimately, I think I think that's it was an easy win for us when we started Advertis, when we started diving into the market research of what that would actually mean. And I think one of the bigger questions that I get asked a lot is, how do we do that at scale? Because, we're partnered with almost 400 agencies now, and we do it at such a high level. And the thing is, we built the company around this culture that there are certain expectations internally that we have set with our team that someone is going to respond to a message in a code Slack channel in a matter of minutes. Like it's so fast. And we set expectations with our partners that will, respond within a 30-minute window. But we usually, I mean, it's right there usually. And I think like, part that is actually because we have an entire team, there's a lot of safety nets there. There's processes implemented internally and externally. There's expectations that are set, things like that. And so I think like with a typical white label agency, usually their cost is operated at such a point where they're like, I just want you to submit a ticket. I'm just going to complete this thing. Whereas a premium white label agency like Advertis, we see it as this is an opportunity to problem solve, get in the weeds with our partner, be able to help support them in the client retention, because if they retain that account, then we also retain that account. And I think that's where the biggest difference is with a premium and the premium communication part. We see it as an opportunity for retention.
Well, and even more than that, that's probably the second point, right?
Well, I think, when it comes to having that premium level communication, it kind of leads us into our next point of the top three. The second would be premium leverage. So we identified this gap early on in the business. It's funny, and you'll hear me say this really transparently, that marketing agencies are terrible at sales. I mean, terrible. And it just so happens that when you're a white label company, depending on other companies to resell, I repeat, sell your services, it kind of becomes a big problem in your business. So a lot of these white label providers, they cut their margins really close because they're hiring overseas. They're doing a lot of things to try to cut costs to keep their costs low, trying to undercut markets. So then their partners can mark those up 100%, 500%, whatever. What we found was, yes, we're not going to be the cheapest white label provider, but you're going to get a lot more value. It's definitely going to be a lot different of an experience, because not only are we going to do the fulfillment, which is what an average white label provider does, but we're also going to help them sell. Because again, going back to the beginning, we identified this weird gap where we're like, yeah, we've got all these agencies. Why are none of them really selling anything? Like, they're business owners. They should be selling all the time. And it was just really because they didn't have the skill set. A lot of agency owners come from, another marketing agency as an account manager or a salesperson within that agency, or they were a specialist and they decide to go do freelancer stuff and decide, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm going to start an agency now. And so then they struggle. Oftentimes we find that just the simple us being able to help our partners sell these clients, upsell, cross-sell, create proposals, create packages with our partners to help them just go to market with our services, that immediately put us into what I would consider a premium category for white label. So when you partner with us, that is free. And guys, we talk to agencies doing, 8 figures a year, 9 figures a year, who are partnering with us because we do the pre-sale ops. We come in and that's just a part of the partnership. We see it as an investment. The cool part about that is, and this kind of gets to the next subject, but it's related to the team. Being able to leverage a sales team to help you grow your revenue, it becomes more like we're a growth partner. And one of the things that I love to share whenever we're talking to a new partner is, Advertis, Zach and I, the owners, we're paying our sales team a commission to help them close business. They don't pay that commission. We pay that commission on their behalf. And so that's something that we learned really early on that I don't think any of our white label competitors really do. They don't actually get into the phone calls. They don't actually get into helping write the service agreements. They don't actually get into the strategy and audits. They'll provide templates. They'll say, yeah, I'll help you. They don't really help you actually.
Right. Right. Well, and on the note of premium team, so you get premium leverage from Advertis's partner success managers who are literally incentivized, paid on commission for every deal that an agency owner closes, right? And Advertis wins when the agency partner wins. Obviously, the more work that we bring to the agency and help to bring to the agency, then of course it's more work that we're delivering services for. Win-win for everyone. But also on the operations, on the service delivery side, the team, the specialists that are actually doing the work, the account managers, the director of operation, the SEO specialist, the paid media specialist, the web developer, and the heads and the managers and everyone in between uh, are they are in the top 10% of all of our specialists, and all the people actually delivering on the work are in the top 10% of the world when it comes to the services that they're specialists at, right? So that's SEO, that's Google ads, that's Facebook ads, that's website development. They are better than 10% of the people that you will ever hire. Why? Because they have worked in quite literally thousands of accounts. Thousands of accounts. Specialists that you guys are used to, that direct marketing agencies used to, they are lucky if they work on, 10 accounts, right? Maybe 20 clients all up all in. But when we onboard a single marketing agency, usually the average marketing agency has anywhere from 10 to 20 clients, right? So we're onboarding potentially 20 clients, right? And those 20 clients are doing multiple services. Some are doing Facebook ads and Google ads and SEO and building a new website and doing landing pages and conversion tracking and OTT and programmatic and everything in between. So our specialists are quite literally working on hundreds and have worked on thousands of accounts over their career just being at Advertis because of the sheer amount of agency partners and the sheer amount of workload that there is. So they get really good, really fast at what are those levers that they can pull that influences 80% of the results? What can they see just by looking at an ad account that's immediately out of place that they can immediately implement so that that account can then sing or that campaign can then grow? That is what our team does day in and day out. So you get a premium team, you get premium service delivery through Advertis, where usually other white label agencies, yes, they're working at scale, but usually the scale that they're working at is to quickly get a campaign and quickly get it launched and then forget about it so that they can launch the next campaign, right? Where our team is not only launching them, but we're also optimizing them, meeting weekly, communicating daily, and we are in the weeds with you as the agency partner because we operate at that premium level. Whereas other agencies, white label agencies that are not as high quality, they are trying to lower the amount of communication, lower the amount of meetings, lower the amount of optimizations needed so that they can scale and grow, when that is the exact inverse of what Advertis is trying to do.
Yeah, I think it's, that level of talent is from the operations team all the way to the sales team. And that's one big benefit that we have had as we've partnered these agencies. Something that always comes up is because we're working in so many accounts every month and we work with so many different types of agencies across the country, we see trends that happen, very, very early on. And it allows us to pivot our strategies. So like part of the, talking about the leverage piece of this, with the sales team is we're working every day with our operations team to get strategies and audits back so we can write service agreements for our partners and for their clients. And so, we're quoting, there's months that we're quoting hundreds of deals every single month. And each one of those are different industries, different strategies, different audits. It helps our team really understand what works versus what doesn't. And so, it's just a vast difference in industries. And, it's wild to see that level of talent that you just can't get when
Yeah.
you go out and hire. And so, like, one thing that I've always noticed when we do talk to these, prospective agencies who, never have heard of Advertis before, that's the shock. That's kind of the shock and awe. It's a free partnership. We're coming in, we're basically taking all that skill set, all that talent to place it into your agency at no cost to you. How we get paid is based on that fulfillment. So we're not only going to fulfill that business for you, but we're also going to help you sell it. We're going to help you retain it. So it's like a whole, almost like a done for you model. The biggest part that we need from you guys is, as agency owners, is to just really want your business to grow. Actually put time and effort into growing your business, actually doing the sales piece. And so that is kind of the major difference. And when you're looking and vetting a white label vendor for your agency, you may be a brand new agency and you may only need somebody to be like a freelancer to come in. That's okay. Like, there's tiers to this, right? Whereas you may be, a very large agency and you need to move fast because you've had to let go of some people and you need to, get to these clients. That's a great opportunity to bring someone like Advertis in because we have the skill sets, we have that talent that you may take you months to find to fulfill a role. And so as you're vetting your white label vendors, we recommend just kind of checking those balances, right? How well is their communication? How much leverage do they have? So we didn't even get into the piece of how we're premier Google partners and how we get all these different benefits through our, the providers and the DSPs and stuff like that, that our partners also get to take advantage of because we're working in thousands of accounts. Does this white label partner, do they have a designated team and does everyone have a clear role? That's another thing we could probably get into a whole other episode. Checking those balances, right? Put them up to the test. And I'm going to tell you this, a lot of our partners in the very beginning, they'll put us up against other white label providers. We love it because we know we stand out. And I recommend if you're an agency owner, put them up to the test. Put them up to next to them. Make them share your MCC accounts to like see they're competing against each other. It's good. It's a good thing. And you should be doing that. It's your business and you should be trying to grow it. And we're here to support that. So whatever that means. But Zach, do you want to add any more to that?
Yeah. I like that. I like that call to action. If you are currently working with a freelancer, a contractor, another white label vendor, have them compare to us. We will do an audit of the currently running ad account, tell you everything that we would do differently if we owned it, if this was like our business. And we will also come up with a plan and a strategy moving forward for how we would change it and what implementations we would do. And we would do that across any ad platform, any website for SEO, happily for free. And part of this is not to just get your business, because other non-quality white label vendors, they just want to get this one account and they just want to work as little in it. What we want is we want to work in as many accounts as possible that your agency can take on. And we want to be the backbone for your agency to take on lots of accounts. So if we can help you do that, then we win as well. Because at the end of the day, you, the agency partner, are our end client, right? So we want to make you happy. We want to make your agency successful. We want to help your agency grow. And we want to help keep clients on for years and years and years to come, like we do with so many other marketing agencies that we currently work with today. So I agree with that call to action. Test this out. And again, if this is something that I agree with that call to action. I like that, Ozzy.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, if you guys, it's very common that we will work with your white label providers to, make sure the account's set up for success. We do that often too. Our goal, to Zach's point, is just to serve our partners well. At the end of the day, that's why we built the company, is we wanted to serve our families, our team's families, and then your all's families. So at the end of the day, this business was built to serve. That's how we are able to serve, is by leveraging the skill and things like that we've been blessed with throughout the journey of building Advertis. So this is a big week for us. We actually just found out that we're over 1,000 subscribers. So guys, thank you so much for supporting this channel. And just, anything that, if you have any content ideas, anything that you'd like to hear, knowing that we work with so many different agencies and different industries, we would love to be able to provide information on those. If you guys are interested in trends, things like that, let us know in the comments below. But thank you so much for supporting us. And we're super excited to continue to serve you all. And we'll see you next week.
Boy, I'm rusty. You got some editing.
Me too, bro.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, you're good. I am too. We haven't done this in like 2 or 3 weeks. So.
I know. I think the content's good. we just
it's fine.
As fluid as we usually are.
No, it's fine, man. It's okay. And it's only 21 minutes. So it was like perfect. I was trying to keep it short. But the call today at 3:30, are you able to come to that? Okay. Well, I'm going to brief you on that real quick. So I sent you some messages over the weekend on it, but basically it was Friday night, I think. That's the healthcare agency. They've got lots of opportunity for us right away we can do, but they want us to sign a BAA. So that's a business association agreement. And what that essentially is they want to pass liability off to us for HIPAA violations.